Are you aware that most medical practices believe they're protected from cyber attacks when they're actually wide open to them? This gap between what they think and what's real costs practices millions every year. These security myths are probably active in your office right now. Stick with me through all 5. The most dangerous one might surprise you, and knowing it could save your practice from the kind of damage that shuts down offices and ruins patient trust overnight. Let's start with a belief I hear constantly from small practices. They think they're too small to be a target. That sounds logical, right? Hackers must be chasing hospital giants with deep pockets. But here's the truth. Small practices are easier targets, and cybercriminals know it. You're storing the same patient data, but your defenses usually aren't anywhere near as strong. It's like leaving your front door wide open in a high-crime neighborhood and hoping no one notices. We saw this play out in 2022 when the eye care leader's breach exposed over 2 million patient records. Most of those were from smaller practices that thought they were flying under the radar. Hackers aren't guessing. They're using tools that scan the internet, looking for outdated software, weak passwords, or systems with missing updates. From their point of view, why spend months attacking one big hospital when they can hit 20 small clinics in the same time? And here's where it gets worse. Most small practices only put 1 to 2% of their IT budget into cybersecurity. That's barely enough to check the box, let alone build real protection. Now, if you're thinking, well, we've got an IT person, so we're fine, that's another dangerous belief. And unfortunately, I hear it just as often as the first one. Having an IT person does not mean you have cybersecurity handled. Here's what most practices don't realize. Your IT person probably does a great job keeping your computers running, but that doesn't mean they're watching for attacks or plugging real security gaps. It's like hiring a car mechanic to do heart surgery. Wrong skill set. IT folks are focused on keeping things working. Printers, software updates, network issues. Cybersecurity is a whole different game, and most breaches hit because no one's watching for the stuff that matters. Some practices only find this out after they've been breached. Everything looked fine, but behind the scenes, security holes everywhere. And here's another red flag. Almost 1/3 of healthcare staff say they've never had any cybersecurity training. That's like putting locks on your doors, then letting someone wedge them open. If your IT provider isn't talking to you about training, incident response, or threat monitoring, you're not protected. You're just assuming you are. Now let's talk about another one I hear all the time. A practice tells me, we've got antivirus software, we're covered. If only it worked like that. Having antivirus is like taking one vitamin pill and thinking you don't need to eat. Even with the most expensive antivirus out there, healthcare organizations still face more than 1,400 attacks every single week. Antivirus alone just doesn't cut it anymore. Most modern threats are designed to slip right past it. Take phishing, for example. These attacks make up about 70% of all social engineering in healthcare. They're not technical, they're psychological. Emails that look like they came from your EHR vendor, billing partner, or even your own staff. One click is all it takes. Dr. Michael's practice in Boston opened what looked like a supplier invoice. Antivirus didn't say a word, but that click triggered ransomware that locked 5 years of patient records. That's how fast it happens. Antivirus didn't stop it because antivirus isn't built to stop it. What actually works is having layers in place. Think of it like infection control in a hospital. You don't rely on just one step. You build several safeguards that work together. That means scanning emails, locking down who can access what, watching for strange behavior, and making sure your staff knows what not to click. When's the last time your entire team had cybersecurity training? If you're hesitating, that's a problem. And now we're at the myth that causes the most false confidence. I've lost count of how many practice managers have told me, "We passed our HIPAA audit, so we're secure." That might make you feel safe, but it has nothing to do with real-world protection. Passing HIPAA means you followed basic rules. It doesn't mean you're ready for an actual attack. HIPAA is a paperwork process, not a defense system, and attackers couldn't care less about your compliance documents. Let me give you a real example. A 5-doctor practice passed their HIPAA audit, no problem. A few weeks later, they were hit with a breach and fined $100,000. They spent weeks trying to rebuild trust and almost shut down for good. Why? Because HIPAA doesn't cover threats from outdated software, old medical devices, or weak internal access. And with most practices running more than 10 different security tools, it's easy to miss something critical. If you want real protection, you need something like the 405D framework. That's built to help you find weak spots and stop attacks before they happen. HIPAA helps with compliance, but it won't help you when someone's already in your system. Passing an audit proves you know the rules, not that you can survive a breach. And if you're thinking real cybersecurity sounds too expensive, that brings us to the final and most limiting myth. This last one holds a lot of practices back. They say, "We can't afford cybersecurity." But here's what they're not seeing. A single data breach in healthcare costs over $400 per patient record. That's more than double the industry average. A small practice with just 1,000 records is looking at a $400,000 problem. And that's before the HIPAA fines hit. Most small businesses don't survive those kinds of losses. Now here's the part most people don't expect. Real protection doesn't have to be expensive. Multi-factor authentication is cheap and powerful. Software updates? Free. Training your staff to spot a phishing scam? Low cost, huge impact. And if that still feels like too much, the government's stepping in to help. The Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency offers free vulnerability scanning. HHS has a free risk assessment tool made specifically for small healthcare offices. You just need to use what's already out there. Start with the basics. Train your team. Lock down your passwords. Keep everything updated. That alone stops a big chunk of threats. The 5 myths we covered aren't just misunderstandings, they're open doors, and attackers know it. 79% of patients say the privacy of their health data matters when choosing a provider. You're not just protecting your business, you're protecting the trust your patients have in you. Once that trust is gone, it's hard to rebuild. This isn't just about avoiding fines, it's about staying open, staying trusted, and staying in control of your future. So here's the question. Are you going to keep relying on old assumptions? Or are you ready to take one step that actually protects what you've built? Your patients are counting on you, and your practices too. These myths aren't just wrong, they're dangerous. In the next video, we're going to go deeper. I'll show you how to build real protection, way beyond what most IT consultants even talk about.